Hello, thank you for joining us on CoreTV News at 7. I am Franco Malapi, and here are some of the reports we're finding at this time. There was a panic in Jos at Bukuru, a metropolis in Plateau State, following a blast at the Maxwell Kobe Cantonment 3 Armored Division, Rukuba Barracks, Jos, on Saturday. The blast, which occurred around 10:45 a.m., was said to have been caused by the destruction of old explosives in an old ammunition armory. The authorities were said to be clearing the stock when some explosives went off. And our President Goodluck Jonathan on Friday met with President-elect Muhammadu Buhari ahead of preparation for the handover ceremony. The meeting was set inside the new banquet hall of the Presidential Villa, Abuja, and lasted about 30 minutes. Buhari was accompanied by the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, John Otigi Oyegun, and a handful of other party officials. After the meeting, President Jonathan and the President-elect came out beaming with smiles.
We have nothing to tell you today. Formally, we will take a date where the president will come and I will show him around the State House. But today is not for that. Today is for continuing with our conversation. So we don't need to worry the president. You don't need to also worry the president. You have to. but you see that we are smiling. So yes, I will not tell you. But for the interest of the country.
The president said all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. And our President-elect, President Goodluck Jonathan wants Nigeria's past and current leaders to learn from lifestyles of a former head of state, Yakubu Gowon, and the former head of the interim national government, Enes Shonekon. This, he says, is because of their consistency since attending official events at the State House throughout his tenure as president. The president also promised to emulate them now that he is on the verge of becoming a former leader. President Jonathan spoke at the 5th presidential prayer breakfast in Abuja.
The essence of presidential prayer breakfast is to call on all Nigerians to come together to pray for the building of our nation. And as a country, we talk about building the country, you will just relate it to when Nehemiah wanted to build the walls of Jerusalem after the captivity and the walls were destroyed. Continue to pray for the country, and of course pray for the incoming government, as also pray for us who are living, to have the opportunity to serve humanity in different phases. For me, I have to thank God and to thank Nigerians for the privileges and opportunities given to me in these past 16 years. I served my state as a deputy governor and a governor for 8 years in government house everywhere. And I came here in the State House, Abuja, served the country as a vice president, as a president. That is a reasonable length of time. So I have to thank God first because if God did not willing to lead our country, and to thank Nigerians for the support for me during this period. I will continue to do my best as I'm gradually joining Yakubu Gowon and Shonekon.
And our President-elect Muhammadu Buhari has received Sulaiman Hashimu. The man will work all the way from Lagos to Abuja for 19 days to celebrate the victory of the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate in the March 20 presidential election. Hashimu told the president-elect that he embarked on the journey to fulfill a vow he made to God 2 years ago that he was going to journey by foot to Abuja from whichever part of Nigeria he was. If Buhari is elected president, Buhari expressed delight over the man's feat, adding that he would like most Nigerians heard about the trekker's journey and the goodwill he enjoyed along the way. While responding to question, Hashimo explained that from Lagos he passed through Kwara and Niger State before arriving Abuja.
I also understand that people will be quite generous to help you to for more pairs of shoes. Thank you very much indeed.
I made this promise 2 years ago that if General Buhari should win the election 2015, I will trek from Lagos to Ibadan. And that is my mission. And I made a promise and I fulfilled it. Lagos to Abuja. You know, I based in Ibadan, and I started my journey from Lagos because Lagos is the most popular city in Nigeria, and I started from the popular junction, which is Bega. If you know Lagos, you know Bega. When I want to start this journey, it's a promise between me and my God. I don't want anybody to believe me or not. That is why I did not put any evidence down. I left Lagos because I made a promise between me and my God to fulfill my promise. And I think right from Ilorin, from Kwara State, I not walk 5 kilometers alone. I always work with people because people do volunteer and see me off to the next village, okay, down to this Abuja.
Let me ask you a question. How do you manage to take your bath, brush your teeth, and maybe if you want to...
Yes, as I said, anywhere I find myself 6 o'clock, I have to pass the night there. Before I wake up in the morning, take my bed, sleep everything, because I used to get accommodation. I'll get... Yes, I work with construction company. I'm based in Ibadan also.
And away from that now, Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano on Friday held a closed-door meeting with President-elect Muhammadu Buhari. The visit comes a few days after he promised to discuss the interests of people of South or Southeast Nigeria with the president-elect. Speaking with newsmen afterwards, the governor expressed hope that the incoming president will include politicians from other parties in his cabinet. He also urged President-elect Buhari to ensure the completion of the second Niger Bridge.
I suspect that the president is not going to offer appointment to only people from his party, because everybody will support him, and therefore I'm pleading that he also considers people from the other parties so that we can all embrace the change.
Elder statesman Edwin Clark wants rival politicians to sheath their sword and unite behind President-elect Muhammadu Buhari. He also advised the All Progressive Congress to cooperate with the Jonathan administration and accord the president due respect until the May 29 handover. The one-time information minister said at a news conference in Abuja that there is no point dwelling on what happened during political campaigns.
However, the elections are over. But I think I should also use this opportunity to mention a few things in this country. This country belongs to all of us. They are majority people, ethnic groups, they are minorities, they are pagans, they are Christians, they are Muslims, and so forth. We all have to live in this country together to make it Nigeria. No one section, no one group, no one individual can claim to be that he will be able to manage Nigeria alone. We need one another. After every election, we must forget what happened during the elections, what was said during the campaign against one another, and find a way to move the country forward. Not only those in government, but every one of us.
A federal high court in Abuja has fixed May 4 for hearing in a fresh suit challenging moves by the 19 members of the All Progressive Congress in the Ekiti State House of Assembly to impeach the state governor Ayotele Fayose. Justice Eva Chukwu, while ruling on an ex parte application filed by the 7 People's Democratic Party's members in the Assembly, ordered that the processes be served on all the defendants in the suits. A similar suit filed by Fayose and others are pending before Justice Ahmed Mohammed of the same Federal High Court in Abuja. Justice Mohammed had fixed April 29 for further proceedings in the said suit. The 19 APC members had already served the impeachment notice on the governor and his deputy, Kola Olushola. Justice Chukwu on Thursday refused to set aside the impeachment process, but ordered that parties should maintain status quo. As of April 23, he however ordered that the defendants should appear in court at the next hearing date to show cause why the order of interim injunction sought by the plaintiffs should not be granted. The plaintiffs in the suit filed 36120 are the 7 PDP members in the House of Assembly. The defendant and the Inspector General of Police, the embattled Speaker of the House of Assembly, Adewale Omiri, and 21 others. You're also watching CoreTV News at 7. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more stories after this time out. Stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
I see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
This is CoreTV News at 7 live from our Lagos studios. For more information on our news and other programs, like our Facebook page, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. For live streaming, log on to youtube.com/CoreTV. Give a space, the news. And now the supplementary poll held in the 22 polling units of the Ileje Major constituency in Ekiti State was greeted with low voter turnout. The election was declared inconclusive due to violence that erupted on the 11th of April. Also saw the heavy presence of security forces, something most people say is responsible for the voter apathy witnessed in the supplementary poll. Our correspondent Rashid has details.
The supplementary poll is being held at 22 polling units cutting across Iye-Ekiti, Iludun, Ewu and Edaunio, part of the towns making up Ileje Major constituency. Being a rerun in few polling units, all attention was shifted to the area in terms of mobilization and security. With these arrangements, however, low turnout of voters were recorded in polling units visited at the time of accreditation and voting. The unruly activities of some security agents, particularly Department of State Securities, did not help matters.
You want to fight the media? You want to fight with security?
We're here. If you don't want camera, you don't wear the SS shirt. You know what in there. Me, we carry my, we carry camera. We know what in there. To bastardize this whole process. Very simple.
The All Progressives Congress were quick to attribute low turnout to the intimidation by security agents, but the PDP is handy to exonerate the security forces of any wrongdoing.
There have been a lot of shootings overnight all through, and this has created a lot of panic and fear in the minds of the people.
Why they shooting bats? When you hear gun in the night, someone must be hunting in the bush. Do you see blood in the town? Don't leave that alone, my brother.
Even as voting and counting done, candidates expressed their reactions to the whole process.
The people's will should be allowed to prevail. What happened 2 weeks ago is least expected, when PDP agents and thugs were kidnapping ballot boxes. We don't want all these things again. Let the people decide whom they want.
Because of the issue of the thuggery, which, our opponent promoted during the last election, but today the security help us. A lot of people are coming now, even though it's low, but we want the quality rather than the quantity.
With the last constituency in Ekiti House of Assembly election concluded, attention will now shift to other burning political matters, especially the impeachment fever which has gripped Ekiti State for some time now.
You want to fight with security?
Rashid, CoreTV News.
And now to your stage, where some indigenes of the state have ascribed the second-term victory of the incumbent governor Abiola Ajimobi in the state as a reward for hard work and quality leadership. They say the genes broken by him did not come as a surprise because of increased awareness of the electorate and deciding which candidate deserved the mandate. Our correspondent Tomotalo has details.
4, 5, 6.
Elections have come and gone, but many have not gotten over the experience and outcome of the process. Specifically in the Pace-Setter state, the build-up to the governorship election was quite tense as a result of predictions of violence and anticipation as to who would emerge winner amongst 3 prime candidates who served before as governors and 2 other first-time candidates. But when Oyo decided, the incumbent governor Abiola Ajimobi emerged winner against all odds of a no second-term jinx. This is what these Oyo leaders make of this historic victory.
It's not a written law, neither is it an unwritten law. He said a former secretary to government made that statement, who is late now. So there is nowhere that it is written that no, Ibadan indigenes will not become governor twice. But generally taken as a jinx, which the incumbent governor Abiola Ajimobi, has broken, if it is.
No any other human being who can say that I will not follow you 2 times, I will not follow you 3 times. Only God has that idea.
His victory at the poll did not sit well with a current governorship candidate and his supporters who accused the incumbent of rigging the election. But on the other end, these indigents say the incumbent governor deserves the victory as they advised the grieved candidate to desist from the cause of violence and allow the interest of the state supersede personal gains.
I've always said it, more than any governor in this state, Senator Abiola Ajimobi has performed wonderfully well and he deserved the victory.
Violence does not pay. People have gone out en masse and they voted for their respective candidates. What actually will create a violence?
The lesson we should learn from the re-election of Governor Ajimobi and any other re-elected governor or top echelon is that the voter is now wiser. They could discern and sift between propaganda, slander, and false information to compare with one, the integrity of the candidates, his or antecedent, performance ratio, and delivery graph.
As the former governor and candidate of Accord, Rashid Ladoja is determined to contest the outcome of the April 11 governorship election at the Electoral Tribunal. Certainly, this may not be the last of the matter. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
Residents of Kaduna State have again commended the Independent National Electoral Commission for a successful conduct of the 2015 general election. They specifically said the election brought in good and capable politicians into office. Our correspondent Amina Nebi has more in this report presented from our studios.
It's over 30 days since the general elections, but residents of Kaduna are filled with great expectations. Many of them, especially in the metropolis, also complained about the attitude of outgoing politicians. Mohammed Salisu is physically challenged and is not particularly happy with politicians. But he seems to have some trust in President-elect Muhammadu Buhari.
Our bill is on sign since 2011, and it has been read, first reading, second reading, and third reading. It is in front of the present president, but up to now, the bill hasn't been signed off to this time.
Civil servants in Kaduna, for their part, are quite expectant, especially with a new party taking charge of the state for the first time since 1999.
I'm expecting progress, good change in our country, Nigeria, and we pray that God will help him to do a greater thing.
My expectation is that I know that with the changes in government, we are expecting that things will be better. Well, people may say that nothing is going to happen like as we expected. But me, I have the hope that something good will be happening to this country.
If this incoming administration come into power, there should be justice and fair play. It is not you are my brother, you are my sister, we are from the same religion, or we are from the same ethnicity. That has been our major block problem. If the president-elect will handle that squarely, because any law you want to implement, you must start from number one citizen. Once it starts from there, it goes down the line.
For now, many residents, irrespective of religion or tribe, are celebrating the dawn of a new government at state and federal levels.
You're still watching CoreTV News at 7. We'll take another break. Then I'll be back with more stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
One continent, 54 countries, over 2,000 languages, but united with similar interests. As news breaks, we give you in-depth analysis around Africa every Monday on CoreTV News.
Glad to have you back now. Outside Nigeria, at least 876 people are known to have died in powerful earthquake in Nepal, with many more feared trapped under rubble. Officials say the U.S. Geological Survey says the 7.8 magnitude quake struck an area between the capital Kathmandu and the city of Pokhara. Tremors were felt across the region, with 4 the loss of life in India, Bangladesh, and on Mount Everest. The government has declared a state of emergency in the affected areas. Nepali Information Minister Minarendra Jaraj says there has been massive damage at the epicenter, from where little information is emerging. Rescuers are digging through the rubble of collapsed buildings in the capital, trying to reach out survivors. A number of historic buildings have been destroyed. Among those wrecked was the landmark Darahara Tower, with many feared trapped in its ruins. After the earthquake struck, frightened residents came out into the street. Mobile phones and other communications have been disrupted. Well, and that's it on CoreTV News at 7. Many thanks for watching. Don't forget, join us at 9:45 p.m. for our primetime bulletin. I am Frank Omalape. Good evening.